Good morning. Good morning. Welcome everybody to Coffee Talk. We had some changes in our plans for this morning. Hopefully you saw my really wonderful commercial that, or it wasn't really a commercial, it was more of an announcement. But sadly, we are going to have to reschedule our plans to have a young man come on to talk to us about his story with substance abuse and his journey towards recovery. And then we had Southboro's own Dr. Medina hoping to come on in a subsequent week to talk about the biology of addiction and its impact on young people, and for us to continue our conversation about treatment and recovery. So stay tuned, we'll have more information on that soon. So what we decided to do, we're being super flexible this morning, and we're gonna talk about our own services with you all, which I think is timely because some of them are seasonal in nature and they start around this time of year. So again, thanks for joining us this morning, and thank you for your flexibility and learning about another topic that's really important to us. I'll share, if you're just tuning in for the first time, we are the Youth and Family Service Department. My name is Sarah Castle, and I am the Director of Southboro Youth and Family Services. And with me this morning, we have Megan Island, who's our Assistant Director. Good morning, Megan.
Morning.
We have Shannon Knyman, who is our Program Coordinator. Good morning, Shannon. And also the lovely Lisa Avery Peck, who is our graduate clinician who's going to be joining us this year, who we're thrilled to have with us. So good morning, everybody. Cheers.
Good morning.
I have no coffee in this mug. I'm just toasting you with. We're all out of coffee here at the office. I wish we had some. Well, I might have to make a trip out. So anyway, so I'm having a little bit of coffee envy. Sorry, Shannon, go ahead.
I have tea, so.
Oh, you have tea.
Yeah.
I have tea. I can't even do tea because I'm a little worried to drink out of our coffee maker as well. We had an issue with our water cooler. Nobody's been using it since maybe March, so
Oh, right.
it has a bit of a
flavor
that I can't place, which is
right.
a little mildewy tasting. So I'm not going to touch the coffee maker either. I'm not sure what we'll do with that, but
yeah.
But anyway, so how was everybody's long weekend? It was a beautiful weekend weather-wise.
It was. Yep.
Did anybody do anything exciting?
No.
A lot of reading.
You did a lot of reading.
Yeah.
That's exciting. What are you reading right now, Megan?
I just finished a book.
Yeah. It was so long ago.
Remember what book it was? It was recommended by the library, The Spoonbenders.
Oh.
Yes.
Shout out to the Southboro Library.
Yep. Yes,
Right.
multiple librarians over there recommended it.
Oh,
so
great.
Hopefully they're watching and will be happy that I finished.
Yes, I think we talked about that one in our book club. The Southboro Library had a book club on Thursday nights that they put on pause. So we're looking forward to them starting that back up.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. I need more book recommendations because I just read like 3 that they had recommended. Finished them all. So.
And you liked them all?
Yeah, they were all good. So.
Oh, good. Oh, that helps. I just picked up, so this whole time during the pandemic, which I hate to mention, but it's happening, that I've been reading books via a tablet because I had no books. So I just recently bought a couple of books from a woman who lives in town who has stacks upon stacks of them, just so I can get off of screens more often and actually hold a book again. It was really lovely. So I spent some time reading this weekend as well, and holding an actual book, which I've missed. So, yeah. So other than reading, did anybody do anything else that was super fun and exciting?
No,
Go ahead.
Yeah, I played Indiana Jones this weekend.
Well, that's, I think that qualifies as exciting.
Yeah, yep. So Creepy Corner, one of our favorite segments on this show. So actually, Lisa, before I tell my story, what's your phobia? Because Sarah's is mice and Megan's is spiders and mine is snakes.
Okay, so this is going to sound really silly, but I love to sing, and I've been kind of for a long time. So my answer is going to sound really strange if you don't sing, but my answer is the high notes.
Oh, okay.
So Sarah can relate to that, right?
Yes.
Okay.
She was telling me that she had been watching some of the episodes and she was thinking about what her own phobia would be if somebody had ever asked her, and she told her singing teacher, right? It's a music teacher or a vocal instructor. That high C is her biggest fear.
Not the fruit punch.
Not fruit punch, no. She's terrified of juice boxes.
Yeah, no, I can do the juice box.
Good.
That actually reminds me, Lisa, when Shannon first started in our department, we had a Halloween party that we were in charge of, and we had no idea. And that particular year, we had hired some superheroes and some princesses to come walk around the Halloween party. And some of them showed up in looking like mascots, with the gigantic heads. So we put Shannon in charge of them, the particular section that had like get your picture taken with Batman or whatever. We found out after the party was over that mascots are one of Shannon's biggest fears.
And I was brand new, so I didn't want to be like, no, I refuse to
do this.
So
Yeah.
the kid,
Stuck it out, the whole thing.
Oh,
she did. So we promised not to bring any juice boxes into the office now that we know you're afraid of high C.
Yeah, because even thinking about it makes me nervous.
Yeah. No, but I totally understand. That's definitely something I, as a singer, worry about also. And maybe it should be part of our line of questioning whenever we interview anybody to come join us for the year. Like, what are you most afraid of, so that we can make sure not to incorporate that into the job somehow.
Right. And if they're afraid of nothing, then we can't hire them. So
yes, right. They have to have some kind of fear.
Well, they might be afraid that you're not going to hire them.
That's true.
Ooh, then that's going to send us into a tailspin of, what do we do in that situation? But, well, anyway, thank you everyone for listening to our shenanigans this morning. We have actually a lot to talk about if we're going to talk about our need-based services. And I'll just say, I'd like to highlight Shannon in today's episode, as this is Shannon's arena. This is all of the things, among many other things too. Shannon wears many hats, but this is what she coordinates in our office. And so we'll be deferring to Shannon on many of these questions. But again, Lisa, we invite you, as Lisa's new to our team this year, and might have some really good questions that we don't think to ask. So please chime in with those. But maybe Shannon, you could start by telling us, what does need-based mean?
How would I explain need-based? So I would start off by saying that for us, need-based is pretty loose. that some of the programs are state or federal programs that we oversee, and definitely have that you need to qualify by, very specific parameters. And then there are other programs that we oversee that, you may look completely comfortable on paper, but maybe there was a job loss or someone got sick in your family or something, and you need that little bit of extra help. And we can talk to families and find out what the situation is, and quite often we can help them with bills and things like that. So so need-based, and also need-based services, it's connecting people with programs and financial help when they could use that extra hand. So.
Right. And I think we were talking about this earlier. So if it's not a program that we offer, it's also need-based, means that if it's a need that you have that we don't necessarily provide a service for, Shannon's been such an amazing resource for our department and for the families that have worked with her to help with some of the legwork and navigation of some of these really kind of complicated systems at times. So, and just if you're under stress, it's really hard to focus and sit down and try to do some of this on your own. So even if it's just a friendly helping hand, just to find the information you need or help make some phone calls or point of contact.
Right.
So,
yep.
So perhaps what makes the most sense to do, I know there's certain programs you really want to highlight to start, because I think, as I mentioned at the top of the show, some of them are seasonal in nature.
Yeah.
And so where would you like to start?
So maybe what I can do is I can give you guys a list of what some of our programs are, and then we can, if you guys have questions about them, you can ask me questions, or we can kind of highlight different ones. So probably one of the biggest ones that we help to oversee with the Senior Center, the Southborough Senior Center, and the Southborough Food Pantry is the Southborough Emergency Fund. So that's one of the programs that we have. We're a Massachusetts fuel assistance site. So anybody that's looking to get help with fuel assistance, I can help them with that application. It's a fairly timely one where people need transfer station stickers like now. If people are finding that paying for that sticker is really difficult this year, that's something that they can get in touch with us to help to get a waiver for that. We do a holiday giving program, and we just finished, although it was a little tough given our year, it was tough all around, but we have a summer campership program, and we also have what's called a Smiling Kids birthday program, which is a Target gift certificate that we are able to give out through the Smiling Kids Foundation, and that goes out during a kid's birthday month. So yeah, so those are the services that we mainly provide. I don't think there are any others that I can think of, but one that I would highlight is fuel assistance. We can start putting together applications now. They're not giving out help until I think it's November 1st. But that doesn't mean that we can't start putting applications together and getting them into them. It's fairly, the qualifications are fairly generous in that program. So it's always good to, to see if you qualify, and it's confidential, and it's, there's paperwork that goes with it, but, we can work together. It's going to be a little bit difficult this year because generally I would sit down with a client and we would talk and we would get all that information, and I'm not seeing clients face to face yet, so we're able to do it over the phone. And I believe they're going to be having an online portal to do some of it this year, so that's good stuff. And I also learned that even if your heat is included in your rent, that you can also qualify for fuel assistance. So definitely that's something that if you think you might maybe qualify, give me a call and we'll figure it out and see if you can.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, what I remember about the fuel assistance program is that, and I think one of the reasons why it's so helpful to have a point of contact, this is kind of what we were just saying, that particular program, you have to collect a lot of documentation, and depending on what your circumstances are, is a different form for different situations. And so that part can be a little bit confusing.
Yeah.
So you can go directly to SMOC. So this is a South Middlesex Opportunity Council SMOC program in Framingham, but we are an intake site. So I think, am I right that they like to encourage people from that particular community to go to the intake site to do the to help sort of facilitate the applications versus going directly to SMOC?
Yep. If for any reason somebody felt more comfortable going to SMOC, they're absolutely welcome to do that. Yeah, but most communities have an intake site. So, and we happen to be one of them. Or if you're a senior citizen in town, Cindy Beard from the Senior Center is also a person that can do intake. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
The other thing I would love for you to share with our viewers, well, before I do that, does anybody have any other questions about fuel assistance? It's a very thorough.
Can I just one?
Yeah.
I was wondering, how long does it take? How long does the process take from the time that someone contacts you, Shannon, to when they might hear?
I want to say it generally takes within a week or two for SMOC to be able to process the paperwork. If the person that I'm working with has all of their paperwork together and we're able to do that paperwork right away and send it in. Sometimes what can stop up the process, kind of what Sarah was alluding to, is that sometimes you're going to find that, oops, we forgot this, or actually you need one of these, or so that can make it a little bit slower. But if it's a pretty cut and dried application, we would just send it in. There's a phone number that people can call to check on their status, and it goes quickly. And then if somebody finds that they're in a real pickle, then they'll do, I don't know what they would call it, but it qualifies as an emergency, and they can do it within the day pretty much. So, you know, they ask that, you know, if you feel like you're getting there, that's when you want to apply. But it's not a total disaster if you find that, you know, you cannot pay for heat and your tank is just about to turn off, then we can help then too. So
That's great. Thank you.
yeah.
What I was going to say too is the emergency fund is another another need-based service that I think is worth highlighting. That's a year-round program. I do want to give a shout out to the Southborough Community Fund and also the Southborough Trust Fund Committee. So this program is very generously funded by these two organizations, which we're very appreciative, and we're happy to share these funds with, as Shannon mentioned, the Southborough Food Pantry and the Southborough Senior Center. So the funds come to us from these two organizations, but then we handle all of the interfacing with people who are requesting the funds. So nobody except the involved departments are aware of the, you know, the beneficiaries of any of these funds, which I think is really important.
And even interdepartmentally, it's kept fairly confidential that we try to keep it to calling someone by a client number or initials. So even, you know, the person that you're in contact with ends up being the one that knows the majority of your story, and then bare minimum is going to go out to the committee as they make a decision.
Right. So maybe it would be worth noting what kinds of things people can get help with.
Sure.
It can't be for everything, because one thing we make sure we tell people is that funds are limited. But do you want to say something about that?
Yeah, sure. So first of all, I would say this is a really good example of a program that can help anybody that's in financial crisis. So this is the example of, you know, things may look fine on paper that you can give me, you know, as some sort of documentation, your last tax return. And somebody may say, but why do you need this help? And it might be because, you know, again, a sudden job loss or an illness in the family or something like that. And that the family finds that they have bills that they need to pay. And some of those bills, we generally, what we discourage are bills that, how would I say this? Recurring bills. So, you know, this is going to be like the hand up that you need to get back on your feet for the following month or whatever. So, you know, ours wouldn't be the right program that, you know, if you're having trouble paying your rent. Right now, everyone should know that if you are renting until November 15th, there's a moratorium on rent, so they cannot throw anyone out. So that's a good thing to know. But if we weren't talking about a pandemic, if we weren't talking about a moratorium, if a person isn't able to pay their rent or their mortgage every month, then we need to find you a different program to take part in. But quite often it's like, you know, you're just making ends meet and then something happens. So there's a car repair or there's a bill because, you know, a hospital bill, or I can't think of something else, but just an unexpected payment that comes up. That's something that the emergency fund likes to help with. And then sometimes too, if it is just, you know, I'm between jobs, I'm going to be starting a new job, but right now I can't pay this, you know, that we'll ask the person if it's, you know, we try not to pay rent. So what we might do is encourage people to give us other bills that we can pay. So we'll say, give us, you know, things that you just can't live without, like your phone or, you know, somebody maybe needs, again, they're going to get fuel assistance, but until fuel assistance can happen over the weekend, we might, you know, fill up their oil tank. So,
Right.
yeah.
I think the other thing too, we'll say to people all the time is don't, you know, even though there are parameters on the emergency fund, don't hesitate to ask. The worst thing that will happen is we say, hey, I'm sorry, we this is not something that qualifies, or the emergency fund committee did not approve of this payment. But as Shannon was saying, sometimes we can get creative and say, please, you know, can we help you with this instead, so that it will help you free up some funds for something else, or, you know. And I would say too that sometimes there's an exception. So if somebody's electricity is about to be turned off, and again, this is not in the time of a pandemic, because I believe there's rules about that right now too, and a moratorium on those things as well. But to avoid an emergency where someone is going to be without heat or without electricity, that you know, we make exceptions to some of those rules depending on the circumstances.
Yeah. And Cindy at the Senior Center and myself are fairly knowledgeable about other programs that are out there. So maybe it's not something that the emergency fund would pay for, but we can definitely connect you with the services that, would cover that stuff. So always ask, always reach out to us.
Right.
And I would say another one that we should highlight, and it's not our program, but the Southborough Food Pantry is incredibly helpful and incredibly generous. You know, there's a lot that goes around food insecurity in terms of privacy, and it's hard to ask for that kind of help. And right now, because of the way that it's working, you couldn't get more private. The way that, you know, you go in to get your stuff, that they're doing deliveries, that they're only letting 2 people in at a time right now. So it's very safe and it's very confidential. So absolutely reach out to the food pantry.
Do you know, there was a period of time that they were doing a drive up where you would actually sort of place an order online of what items you needed, and then you would just drive up and they would put the stuff in your car. Is that the way they're still doing it, or are people going in now a little bit more?
They might be going in a little bit more. I know that I just read that they're allowing 2 people in at a time. So with appointments. So I don't know if that's going to be in lieu of the pickups but I'm sure that, you know, if you're feeling unsafe and you needed to do a curbside, that they can accommodate that too. So we can find out for next week to make sure.
Yeah, maybe we should have Barbara Jandrew. I know you watch this show once in a while. She's probably feverishly commenting right now. But maybe we should have them on the show to talk a little bit more about the food pantry at some point.
Yeah, that would be great.
That's an excellent resource. I agree, Shannon, to highlight that.
Yep.
And again, the other program that I think is on the horizon for people, or really, I don't know the timeline, Shannon, you're more familiar with this, but the transfer station. I wonder, Lisa, are you wondering what the transfer station is?
Yes. Yes.
It's a really good question. I don't even know all of the details around the transfer station.
It's the dump. It's the fancy way to say the dump.
Yes.
Yeah, so in Southborough and in lots of towns, you need to get a sticker that you pay for to bring your trash. And I have no idea how much it actually costs, but it's enough that it can be
$100 at least.
Yeah, I'm sure that it's more than
250, something like that.
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah.
Karen Galligan, if you're watching the show, let's just give a shout out to everyone we know in town.
I know. Yep.
Kim Davis, if you're watching the show. But yeah, I think it's around 250 if I remember.
Yep, and people need new stickers within this week, I think. So that's something that we can help with. You know, there's some qualifications there, but we can work together and figure out if it's something that you qualify for. And, you know, it may be one less thing that you need to worry about. So absolutely reach out to us. And the other one it's not quite timely. I'm sure that although I was going to say no one's thinking about the holidays right now, although I kind of am. I'm totally up for making a turkey and putting up a tree and just calling it a year, but you can't do that. So the holiday giving program will absolutely happen this year. It's a little bit of a work in progress in a way that's going to be, you know, safe for everybody that's involved. And so if it's as holidays start to approach, if you're getting anxious about making that celebration with your family, you know, don't hesitate to reach out to us. And I would also say, you know, we call it the holiday giving program. And frankly, when you say holiday giving, that sounds like it's a Christmas program. And so a lot of cultures and different religions are going to say, that's nice, but that doesn't apply to me. But, you know, I always encourage people that, you know, that it's a program that if it's available to you and you want to take part in it, please do. You know, that's something that you can put away and you can use those gifts for birthdays and other holidays and
what you celebrate.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, absolutely, that's for you too.
Yeah, I love that you highlighted Thanksgiving too, because that's, a common, I'm sure there are folks out there who do not celebrate Thanksgiving, but I would say it sounds like, by and large, and it's about, your family togetherness and having a special occasion, basically. And frankly, I believe we all deserve that, especially this year. And as Shannon said, it's, a non-denominational program. So please, if you're in need, express your interest and apply. We want to hear from you.
So I would just wrap it up by saying, if there's something that you need help with, you're not even sure if we do it, reach out to us, because I am so happy to help you out and to look into those services with you and give you a hand. I love doing it, and I love meeting people, and so if I can help, I will try.
That's great. Well, that is all the time we have for today. I'm sure we could easily spend an entire episode talking about each one of these programs.
Oh my God. Megan's been so quiet today.
I know. Megan, say something quick.
Books.
You did.
You did talk about the books. Do you have any cats in your room right now?
No, I closed the door. So Odin likes to jump up on the desk.
Right. Shannon, your hand, you were being very expressive while talking, and it was behind the plant. And I thought your cat was behind the plant the whole time, and then I realized it was your hand. But so shout out to Sharu. Sharu is Shannon's cat. Maybe he'll make an appearance at some point.
I have a 9-year-old making an appearance right now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
1 second. Anything, probably.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. We'll be completely honest with you. We're not sure what we're doing next week. So stay tuned for that. We have a few different options, because we had to reschedule our plans for the 2 consecutive weeks. We have a free episode for next week. We're looking to a few different options. If you have some ideas, I guess this is a great opportunity to say, to please email me or email any one of us in the department to make your suggestions on topics that we should cover and people that we should have on the show. You can find our information on the town website if you go to departments and find Youth and Family Services. And either way, whatever we're talking about next week, we hope you'll join us. And thank you, ladies, for all of your time this morning. We'll see you next time.